Mangwana ni mwalelepo vukenja ni Krekwas Vanave Africa. Welcome to Africa. Good morning, the news and current affairs show, bringing you everything you need to know happening on the African continent and beyond. You're joined by Ashwin Berry and Glenora Shupura one day before Africa Day. Exactly. What are you celebrating Africa Day? What are you doing tomorrow? Well, I'm going to celebrate this African. We can start there. Start at home. Yeah, yes. No, but I mean, I'll be in the sports studio. I always, especially because there's the Indoor Hockey Africa Cup. So, you know, Africa's together in maybe at Soccer Moon. I'll be in the sports studio. Then after that, I'll take it easy. And NTV will be covering that live. Oh, yes. Make no mistake. Amazing. What are you doing for Africa Day? I am just dressing up very pretty, I guess. Oh, okay, there we go. Celebrating the Herero. There we go. We love it. Let's take a look at what you can expect in today's broadcast. Rwanda's president defends his country's refugee track record. City of Maputo reports close to 5,000 cases of malaria in 18 weeks. And Southwest State MP Ibrahim Abdirahman assassinated in Mogadishu. We'll also be speaking to Mike Sichula, who'll be filling us in on the latest news in Zambia. We'll be right back with your top stories.
Neo Paints has established a 67-year Namibian legacy, creating personalized paint solutions that blend quality and innovation for the Namibian people. We pride ourselves in being a 100% Namibian-owned company, investing in our country and our people by employing and empowering true Namibians. With every brushstroke, Neo Paints commits to our quality guarantee and always delivering a coat of excellence. At Neo Paints, we always stay true to our country. We are as Namibian as you.
Getting into our top stories, in a global address to the Global Security Forum in Qatar, Rwanda's President Paul Kagame on Wednesday defended his country's track record in assisting refugees. Human rights activists and others have criticized a new British law that will see Kigali paid for receiving illegal asylum seekers deported from the United Kingdom. Kagame said the issue of hosting migrants was not new to Rwanda and started way before its deal with the UK. Even today, we are processing migrants who are stuck in Libya who are trying to cross into Europe and got stuck there, or others who are dying in the Mediterranean, he said. Kagame said providing a haven for people to Rwanda or be processed through the country to wherever they want to go dates as far back as 2018. At that time, we had no agreement with anyone, so there wasn't even anyone going to pay for it except ourselves. But people worked for migration institutions, international institutions, or UNHCR and so on, he said. Britain's parliament passed the new legislation to send some migrants to Rwanda in April, clearing the runway for flights this European summer.
In our next story, almost 5,000 patients have been admitted to health units in the city of Maputo with malaria since the beginning of this year. The data was provided to AIM by the Municipal Director of Health at the Maputo Municipal Council, Emilia Kumakwela, speaking about the record of water diseases during the 2023-2024 rainy season. Now, the health sector says that cases are now falling off as the rainy season has passed and we are about to enter winter. Areas of Maputo prone to flooding are soaked, and there the mosquito that causes malaria is born, putting the health of residents at risk. From the beginning of the year until week 18, we have a cumulative 4,604 cases of malaria compared to 5,339 in 2023, which corresponds to 14% also without deaths. Kamukwala said. Now, Kamukwala said that municipal teams of preventative medicine technicians have been visiting homes to check for waste and stagnant water to avoid waterborne diseases.
Now, Malawi Energy Regulatory Authority has announced that there are adequate fuel stocks in the country. This comes amidst reports that fuel is unavailable in strategic reserves and can take the country down less than 20 days. In a statement released on Wednesday, MERA, which is headed by Henry Kashaya, says consumers should not panic as there is enough fuel in the country. The statement indicates that the country has fuel that will last close to a month. In addition, importation is ongoing to ensure uninterrupted availability of fuel on the market.
In a tragic incident on Wednesday night, Ibrahim Abdirahman, a member of parliament for the Southwest Regional State of Somalia, was fatally shot in a targeted assassination. The attack took place in the Wadija district of Mogadishu, the capital city of Somalia. The assailants, suspected to be members of the militant group Al-Shabaab, used pistols in the attack. The assassination sent shockwaves through the region, with Southwest State leader Lafta Garin strongly condemning the killing of the lawmaker. Ibrahim Abdirahman was a prominent figure in the Southwest regional state, known for his dedication to public service and his efforts to bring about positive change in his community.
Now, the 2024 elections will see the biggest contingents of civil society observers going out of voting stations across South Africa on the 29th of May. This was revealed at a media briefing held by the civil society organization Defend Our Democracy in Parktown, Johannesburg. DOD reveals their Election Watch observation campaign plans for Election Day next week. Over 1,200 election observers from 86 different organizations that are part of this campaign will be stationed at voting stations across the country on election day. Meanwhile, Police Minister Bekisele has condemned acts of violence in some parts of the country ahead of the elections next week. Incidents of attacks on members of political parties during electioneering have become widespread in parts of the country. In Tshwane, Democratic Alliance members were allegedly attacked by a group of unknown people in Mshongoville in Atregeville this week while putting up election campaign posters. More incidents of political intolerance have also occurred in Northwest and Limpopo.
Wrapping up our top stories, U.S. President Joe Biden and Kenyan President William Ruto will announce on Thursday investments in green energy and health manufacturing in the East African nation and a plan to reduce its debt burden. A senior U.S. administration official said Ruto arrived in the U.S. on Wednesday as part of a 3-day state visit that included bilateral talks with Biden on Thursday, followed by a lavish state dinner in the evening. Ruto's trip was the 6th state visit hosted by the Biden administration and the first for an African president since 2008. Yesterday, Biden designated Kenya as a major non-NATO ally, making it the first sub-Saharan African country to receive the designation, a senior U.S. administration official said.
All right, those have been our top stories on Africa. Good morning. After the break, we talk to Mike Sichula, bringing us the latest news from Zambia.
eTicket, your online ticket solution for events and event marketing, bringing you ease of mind and making sure that your event gets out there. For more information, contact events@nhh.com.na.
All right, it's time for us to talk to Mike Sichula. Mike Uribwanji.
Chiribuino Mulibwanji, Africa, good morning to our dear viewers.
All right, Africa, good morning indeed. Speaking of Africa, good morning. Africa Freedom Day celebrations are going to be underway. What are some of the highlights, Mike?
Well, this year's Africa Freedom Day will be observed under the theme Educate and Skill Africa for the 21st century, building resilient education systems for increased access to inclusive, long life, quality, and relevant learning in Africa. So according to Zambia's cabinet secretary to the cabinet, Patrick Kangwa, this year's event will be celebrated today because it's supposed to fall on Saturday, which is a weekend. So today, the official celebrations will be held at State House, where President Hakainde Hichilema is expected to honor and award deserving citizens at an event that is usually held in this fashion. Then yesterday, he did announce a number of prisoners that have been pardoned. The exact number is yet to be stated today, and we are also expected to know who among those prisoners pardoned they are, whether they are prominent people who might have been sent to prison, especially during the the reign of the Patriotic Front, because some of those are UPND members. Then tomorrow, we have not been informed whether former President Edgar Lungu has been invited for this event, but we also know that there are some other opposition political party leaders that have been invited. But it is likely, it is highly unlikely that Mr. Lungu will be invited for this event because of things that have been happening in the past few weeks.
Now, Mike, what is the latest in the matter where former President Edgar Lungu is being pursued by the police following his recent political comments?
Yeah, a lot has been happening in the past few weeks. Just on Wednesday, Mr. Lungu shared a post on his official Facebook page where he did disclose and allege that 25 complaints have been filed against him at the police, and he raised a revelation that police were planning to raid his official residence, and he did he questioned as to why police would go to such extent of trying to ambush him in the dark of the night instead of just sending a call out to him if they feel he needs to answer to charges that people have complained against him. So he did liken his state of affairs as at now as somebody who is being placed under house arrest, something that he condemned, and condemned the current administration for lack of respecting the office of the former president. Then yesterday, the Inspector General of Police refuted the claims that police were planning to ambush his residence in the middle of the night. But before yesterday's press briefing, the Inspector General of Police told the media that yes, indeed, police are pursuing Mr. Lungu, but they will give him a police call out when that time comes. So this has been the state of affairs with regard to President Lungu, because he's complaining that police have stopped him from his morning weekend jogging. He can no longer do that. Then he can no longer visit churches. So he's been complaining, and a lot has been actually happening where people are calling now for the removal of his immunity so that he can face charges.
Wow, very interesting. I mean, he was instigating, to say the very least. Now, in a rather sad update, authorities have retrieved 3 bodies of miners who were trapped in January this year.
Yes, quite a sad incident, and this occurred on 24th January this year, where 7 miners, including 2 Chinese nationals, got trapped after the shaft they were sinking at flooded at Microlink mine in Ndola on the Copperbelt province. So because the mine did not have sufficient equipment to retrieve the bodies from the shaft, they had to sort for intervention and support from some South African companies. But because of the state of the shaft, they could not manage. So they only managed to retrieve the bodies this week. So the 3 bodies were found in a decomposed state for obvious reasons, because they have stayed underwater for more than 4 months. So according to Copperbelt Permanent Secretary Augustine Katongo, he says the bodies are of a Chinese national and 2 Zambians. So immediately these bodies have been buried because they could not be kept any further. Then he also said that the search for the other remaining 5 bodies is ongoing to ensure that the family members of these deceased miners can bury their deceased, can bury their beloved ones in a dignified manner.
Now, in the last of your stories in sports, soccer fans have reacted to the omission of Fashion Sakala in the provisional Chipolopolo boys squad ahead of the World Cup matches.
By the way, Mike, I'm also reacting.
Oh yeah. So why soccer fans are reacting in this manner? It's because Fashion Sakala in the Saudi Pro League is the third top scorer behind Cristiano Ronaldo. So just yesterday, he scored his 19th goal for his Saudi club. So it is because of such highlights and performances that the former Celtic player has been exhibiting in the league that a number of soccer fans are calling for his inclusion into the national team because Zambia will be facing Morocco and Tanzania in a back-to-back World Cup qualifiers. Then Fashion Sakala is the last Zambian player to score an international hat-trick for the Chipolopolo boys. And because of such statistics, a number of soccer fans are saying that he must be included into the team. Then Avram Grant, the Chipolopolo coach, has not yet explained to the fans why Sakala has been omitted from the team, but he is expected to hold a press briefing in the coming week to explain why certain players have been included into the team. So it is something that has divided soccer fans, with others saying that without the inclusion of players like Fashion Sakala, then Zambia's quest to qualify for their maiden World Cup is not something that can be achieved in the nearest future if such players are left out of the team.
Safe to say that decision is being viewed as unfashionable, Mike. Thank you for bringing us the news stories.
Absolutely unfashionable, like you've put it. And it's wonderful that fans nowadays are able to comment on such things, and we have seen in some instances where decisions have been reversed.
All right, it's always a pleasure to have Mike Sichula on Africa Good Morning. Let's take a look at our weather predictions before we return with your economic news.
In economic news, UK drones given to Ukraine have been used to take out more than $1.2 billion worth of Russian military gear, according to the UK's defense secretary, citing Ukrainian figures. Our Ukrainian partners conservatively estimate that UK drones have destroyed over $1 billion worth of Russian hardware. Grant Shapps told a delegation of Ukrainian ministers at a defense forum in London, as per The Telegraph. Our cooperation has had an outstanding impact on the battlefield, Shapps added. The UK has provided over 4,000 drones to Ukraine since Russia launched its full-scale invasion in February 2022.
Zambia's former president Edgar Lungu has said that he was practically under house arrest, accusing police of a plot to forcibly detain him for no reason. Lungu said police were mobilizing to arrest him at night from his residence in the capital, Lusaka. It comes a few days after the former leader was quoted as saying that there could be a change of government in the country before the 2026 general election.
Yes, and it was good to have Mike on the show, give us more depth with regards to that particular story. We're going to head over to the indicators just before Adi Hochad brings us the sport.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, and starting off with soccer news first. It was a big final played at Viva Stadium. It was the Europa League final. Winners Atalanta. Atalanta beating Leverkusen. It's by Leverkusen. They beat them by 3-0. Big win for Atalanta. Very significant for Atalanta in the win. It is their first major trophy in 61 years. So a great achievement by them. They beat the team of Leverkusen that haven't lost a game in 51 games. So it was also not a good day for the coach Xabi Alonso. The German team had a very successful season so far in the 2024 season. What happened in the game was it was Ademola Lookman that was the star for Atalanta. He scored a hat-trick. He scored all 3 goals in Atalanta's win for their major title. So Atalanta, the winners of the Europa League Championship 2024. Moving on to tennis news, it is gearing up for Roland Garros, the French Open that will start this coming Sunday, and there's still qualifying going on. Southern African interest, it is Lloyd Harris that unfortunately fell out in the second round of the qualifying tournament against Mattia Bellucci, 6-1, 7-6. He lost that game. Also a 2-time finalist at Roland Garros, that is Dominic Thiem, also out in the second round of qualifying. He lost to Toto Virtanen, and the score is 6-2, 7-5. Another tournament going on, taking place at the moment, is a WTA Women's Tournament, the Strasbourg International. Number 1 seed, Marketa Vondrousova, she safely through to the quarterfinals, and she beat Magdalena French by 5-7, 6-1 and 6-love. Also number 2 seed, that is Beatriz Haddad Maia of Brazil. She's through. She beat American Emma Navarro by 6-4 and 7-6 to advance to the semi-finals. Continuing international sports news with cricket news, and it is Indian Premier League. Its eliminators taking place at the moment. It was the Rajasthan Royals that beat the Royal Challengers Bangalore by 4 wickets. So just 3 teams left now in the tournament. On Friday, it will be the Rajasthan Royals that will play against the Sunrisers Hyderabad, and the winner of that game on Sunday will play in the final. That will be against the Kolkata Knight Riders. And to close off today's international sports news, it is soccer news from the English Premier League. It is coach Vincent Kompany. He's currently the coach of Burnley that indicated that he reached a verbal agreement with Bayern Munich, and that is to coach at Bayern Munich. A difficult situation for Burnley. That is because it was Vincent Kompany that signed a 5-year extension of his contract in 2023. So it is Bayern Munich that will try to buy him out. Bayern Munich looking for a coach because Thomas Tuchel, that was their coach for a few years, he retired, or indicated in February this year that he will step down as coach, and it is Vincent Kompany, very experienced as a coach now, had big success with Anderlecht and Burnley, and also as a player won 4 Premier League titles with Manchester City. That's international sports news for today. Hope you have a great sport day, and we talk international sport again tomorrow. Goodbye.
Thank you very much for joining and staying with Africa Good Morning throughout the week. Tomorrow we will be celebrating Africa Day. So do share with us on our social media pages what you're going to be doing. Would absolutely love to know. Glenn?
I'm quite excited for that.
Excited.
I'll send you my, my outfit
Your
tomorrow.
Herero dress.
Yes, and then you'll tell me how I look. You rate me.
Sounds
out of 10.
about good. All right, from Glenn Shapura and Ashwin Berry, happy Africa Day tomorrow. Sera Jokanaka.